Hey English 112, Miss Brewer here for your lecture on literature reviews. This is a very important lecture. I very much suggest that you have Moodle open during this time. I also suggest that you have a pad of paper with you and something to write with so that you can actively take notes on the things that I'm saying in this lecture, because literature reviews are a totally different style of writing, one that you guys are not used to doing, and it's really important that we understand this shift that we're going to be making in writing style, okay, because your style is going to be different here. So I'm just looking in our Moodle course here, and I'm looking in our module here where we're looking at literature reviews for this week, okay? So you'll see that there's a course lecture. So if you will just click on literature review course lecture, and we're going to go through some information about your literature review. So a literature review is a review of the literature, meaning all of the articles that you have read for your annotated bibliography, you are now going to put together in a review, all right? The purpose of a literature review is oftentimes when you are doing some research and it's you want to essentially look at what's already out there on the research because you're going to try to add something new to a topic. So you review what's already out there in scholarly articles so that you can then move forward and do new research. That's not what we're doing, obviously, here. We are just getting used to the feel of writing a literature review and how that works, okay? So what a literature review is not. It's not an annotated bibliography, okay? Your annotated bib was compiling the research that you did, okay, and summarizing it. But what your literature review is going to do is it's going to analyze it and it's going to group main ideas from all of your articles together. It's not obviously a literary or a book review. You're not saying if the articles that you've read are good, all right? You're analyzing what information they present. It is not a research paper, okay? So a research paper means that you're essentially using the literature to try to prove something, okay? That's not our point here. That's not our goal. Our goal for our literature review is to gather information from our resources and organize it into main ideas and analyze essentially what is all of this saying about our topic. So a great literature review is going to look at multiple sources on a same topic and draw conclusions. So you're going to organize what your literature is presenting into different topics and give that information to the reader. And at the end, you will come to some conclusions about what's already out there, okay? So you guys are looking at your social issue. So you may end up looking at some of the history of your social issue. You may look at areas of your social issue that are of main concern, okay? And then you may look at solutions or things like that for your social issue. It really just depends on what is already out there on your social issue, okay? So that's what you're looking at. You're looking at these articles and you're saying, what are they saying about this issue? What is some information about this issue? And that's what you're essentially doing. So I'm going to click out of the course lecture and go back to our week. And the next thing you'll see here is there's a PowerPoint on literature reviews, and I want you to open that up and go through that with me. So this is just talking about how you write a literature review, okay? So what is the purpose of a literature review? We've kind of talked about that, but just to hit it again, they're conducted prior to starting research to ensure that the research is warranted, okay? So you don't want to do research in scientific fields where it's already been done by multiple people, okay? So that's what you're looking at there. In an education setting, all right, what we're doing is we're just kind of encouraging you to gather information on your topic and figure out how to group it together into main ideas that many people talk about for your topic. Your format of your literature review. Now this is important. So you're going to start grouping things and you're going to start using headings and subheadings in your writing, okay? So you're going to have an abstract just like you did for your annotated bibliography. Then you're going to have an introduction. Your introduction introduces your topic and the relevance of your topic. It's like an introductory paragraph without a thesis, okay? The discussion is going to group the information presented from your the literature you've read into subheadings, all right, into topics, okay? And then you come to a conclusion. This is essentially kind of where you come up with a thesis and what are you getting out of all of the literature that you read. You come to a conclusion, okay, about your issue, maybe things need to be done, so on and so forth. And then you have a references section, okay? APA style uses references and not a works cited. So then I'm going to go into detail with the PowerPoint. So an abstract, not all literature reviews will require an abstract. For the purposes of this course, you are required an abstract. All right, brief summary, it will be probably very similar, but not exactly the same as the abstract from your annotated bibliography. And it is essentially talking about the relevance of your topic and what are the main ideas that we're going to be looking at in the paper. You should write the abstract after writing every other part of your literature review because the abstract essentially says this is what the literature review does. The introduction, you're just presenting the focus of your literature review. So if my social issue is the gender wage gap, then my introduction may say something about, the gender wage gap has, always been in effect since there's been a gender wage gap issue. I'm probably focusing in the United States since women were allowed to enter the workplace. Then I would identify why this is an issue, all right? And kind of similarities that I may see, a few similarities here and there in the papers that I've read. Your introduction is like a paragraph, okay? So don't put it to be too much. It's just one little small section of your paper. The tip for your introduction, because it's blank in the PowerPoint, but I'll give you one here. My tip for your introduction is be general, okay? You don't have to get specific. We're not citing at this point in time. You're just introducing, all right, the topic. So think about the abstract as an overview of the whole paper and the introduction as the introduction to your paper. The discussion is the main part of your entire literature review. You're presenting your findings. You should essentially say, here's what this article said, okay? So you'll use the author's names. So if it's, let's say, I did it with somebody else named Tom Jones, right? Brewer and Jones, 2019, reported that da-da-da-da-da, and then whatever information I got, from the paper. I'm organizing the information into major subheadings, okay, major topics. So you want, I'd say, probably 3 to 4 for the purposes of this paper. And you essentially want to say, so if I'm doing gender wage gap, maybe one of my subheadings is the history of wage gap. Maybe the next subheading is wage gap by industry. I'm making this up. Maybe the next heading is wage gap laws that have been put into place, and then my final heading is addressing current wage gap. What are they doing to address the current wage gap issue? Okay, so those 4 subheadings, and then I want to find from all of my articles I'm using what they're saying about those topics and organizing it in there. Okay. Direct quotations are generally frowned upon during a literature review, so you don't want a whole lot of quotations. You want to summarize what people have said. You may include 1 or 2 throughout the entire paper, but most of it is going to be summary. Obviously, you still have to cite that because you're taking from the articles and saying this is what they said, citation, okay? So for the purposes of our literature review, you are allowed to use direct quotations, but I would not use more than 1 per subheading. Your conclusion is providing some insight on the information that you've presented throughout the review. You're making connections, so what all of these people are saying and what does that mean, all right? And then what needs to be done further on the issue. And of course, your references, they are in APA format. And you're still using hanging indentations, but you're using APA formatted citations. So why not just write the annotated bib? I think we've addressed that, but your annotated bib simply compiles your information and organizes it. The literature review is to analyze it. You're looking for major topics, and you're going to put those major topics and say, this is what these guys are all saying about this. Okay, so I'm getting out of the PowerPoint and I'm going to go back to our Moodle page. So this little infographic that is created for you guys, it's a Word document, and I highly suggest you just review it. It's to help you understand how literature reviews work. Okay, so it's just more information, yet another resource for you about your literature review. Okay, so it just kind of goes over the process that you can take, your steps that you can take for making a literature review, and where you can get some help and what different steps you take to do that literature review. So kind of use that. It talks about your organization. We are focusing on theme for our organization. So those 4 main concepts in the subheadings, that's what I'm talking about. Those topics, they're like themes, they're main ideas. All right, that's how we're organizing our particular literature review. So just be aware of that. And then if I go back into our Moodle page here, you can see our literature review assignment. So you guys are going to be writing a literature review, 5 to 7 sources. You already have 7 sources that you used for your annotated bib. You're using the same sources, but now you're required 5 to 7 because you may find that 1 or 2 of those sources doesn't particularly work for this assignment. So 5 is the minimum. You should be able to, if you looked all on the same issue, use 5. If you want to use all 7, you're welcome to do that. It needs to be an APA format, so make sure that it's an APA format and make sure that it is organized like a literature review is supposed to be organized. So you'll need to have all of your different headings. Headings are abstract, introduction, discussion, conclusion, references. Those are your 5 main headings, and then you have subheadings only under your discussion, and those are the topics that you're presenting, okay? So just be aware of that. So you have 5 major subjects, 5 major headings: abstract, introduction, discussion, conclusion, and references. Your subheadings go under your discussion. All right, I'm going back to our Moodle page, and you will see that there is a questions and answers. You can go through that. I want you to look now at the sample literature review. This is from Purdue OWL, and it just kind of tells you what everything is. So you'll see your headings, you'll see your title page, all right? You'll see how you do citations. It kind of just goes over how you want to summarize and things like that. And then you'll also see that I give you a student example of a literature review. Definitely look at the student example. That's going to show you how your literature review should be organized, okay? So definitely review that. Finally, you have an actual video. I really suggest you utilize this video, okay? So the video talks about essentially how to do a literature review. It is content specific, so don't pay attention to their content, but it does talk about exactly how you're supposed to organize your lit review, okay? So just remember that a literature review, the style is different, your writing tone is different, all right? And it's really important that we present our information and we kind of change the way that we're writing so that we're not presenting an idea and then using quotations to back it up. We're now presenting what did they say in the articles. I really want you guys to utilize my virtual office hours because I can help you understand this better. Remember that my virtual office hours are Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. I'm doing it through Blackboard Connect, and I may switch to Zoom if I find that that's easier, but we're going to try Blackboard Connect first. So I will put the link. I'll have a Blackboard Connect in each of my face-to-face classes. So on Monday morning at 9 a.m., it will be live in my Monday, Wednesday, Friday 9 a.m. class. On Tuesday morning, it will be live in my Tuesday, Thursday 9:30 a.m. class. Then Wednesday, we're going to do my Monday, Wednesday, Friday 11 a.m. And Thursday, I'm going to do my Tuesday, Thursday 12:30. But everyone will get the link, all right? Just on your particular day in Moodle, you'll see that there's actually something you can click into for Blackboard Connect. definitely get in there and ask me questions if you have them, and you can always email me your questions as well. All right, so you want to go ahead and get to writing on that literature review, and I'll check in with you guys later.